गीत आमुचे सागराचे इतिहासाचे जनमनाचे गीत आमुचे जागराचे गीत आमुचे आकाशाचे गीत आमुचे सागराचे इतिहासाचे जनमनाचे गीत आमुचे जागराचे
Vokali.
अभंगाचे ओवीचेही माया बोलीचे माहेर
वाऱ्यातही मराठीचे दिवे लख घरोघर संत महंतांचे विरागी गीत आमुचे वादळाचे इतिहासाचे जनमनाचे गीत आमुचे जागराचे तंतु तंतु संघर्षाचा पैठणीत भिनलेला
नक्षीतच पक्षी पक्षी विजयाचा मिळलेला
सोन पहाट उदयाचे गीत आमुचे उजेडाचे इतिहासाचे जनमनाचे गीत आमुचे जागराचे प्रज्ञेचा सूर्य नवा शब्द शब्द उजळून गेला समतेचा संगराचा अर्थ ढाळून गेला विराट विशाल संस्कृतीचे गीत आमुचे जीवनाचे इतिहासाचे जनमनाचे गीत आमुचे जागराचे गीत आमुचे आकाशाचे गीत आमुचे सागराचे इतिहासाचे जनमनाचे गीत आमुचे जागराचे
Thank you, Goro. You can stop the university song and the banner. On behalf of UGC Malviya Mission Teachers Training Center, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar, I welcome today's guest, Upendra Rao sir, Honorable Upendra Rao sir, who is from School of Sanskrit Department, and also I welcome our course coordinator, Dr. Madhuri Sawant ma'am, working as a professor in Department of Tourism Administration of our university. Also, she is a vice president of Euro-Asia Tourism Study Association and also chief editor of Euro-Asia Tourism Study journal published from France. As an expert member of tourism, she is working in Government of India, University Grants Commission and various prominent academic committees of tourism in over 18 universities in India. A postgraduate in tourism, she is the first UGC NET GRF and also first woman to be awarded PhD in tourism in state of Maharashtra. She holds a PG diploma in business management, general German language and environmental study. As a prominent tourism researcher, University of Queensland, Australia has published her biography in Women's Voice in Tourism Research to motivate the young global tourism researcher. Her principal research interests are marketing, CSR, social economic accepts, heritage tourism management, and has completed five major research projects sponsored by UGC, ICSSR, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and also has worked as a research coordinator of India on international project with academicians from Europe and Asia. As a frequent traveler of academic and research assignments, she has been visited various universities in Portugal, Japan, France, UAE, Thailand, Chile, and South Korea. She has over 71 publications, including six books to her credit, and also has organized several national, international conferences, seminars, and workshops. As a research supervisor, she has been guiding doctoral research from UK, Japan, Thailand, Yemen on health tourism, creative tourism, CSR, human resource in tourism, internet marketing, destination branding, film tourism, crime and tourism, and she has evaluated several doctorate theses and conducted open viva voce. She has delivered keynote valedictory address, chaired number of technical sessions in national and international conferences. She is a prominent resource person of training programs of Government of India officers, immigration officer, tourist guide, assistant professor, and earlier career researchers. Dr. Sawant has designed over 31 courses program in tourism and hospital management. So indeed, I hope that his expertise and experience in academics will really help us uh, in throughout this course. So again, I welcome her, and I would now request her to share the 12 days planning with all of us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mohammed Rafi. Uh, Respected Professor C. Upendra Rao, Namaskar, sir, and thank you so much for joining. Professor Upendra Rao is from JNU. He is the chief guest of today's inauguration function of the refresher course in IKS, Skill Based for Curriculum Development. Assistant Director Dr. Mohammed Rafi, and dear participants from various colleges and universities across India. Myself, Professor Dr. Rafe has already introduced me. So I will be coordinating this event till the 20th of September. And on behalf of MMTC, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, I welcome you all for this refresher course. I also see a lot of participants pan-India. These are more than 50 participants. I'm definitely sure that your presence is a testimony of growing interest in reimagining our educational frameworks in light of the vast intellectual traditions in India. This was after taking a lot of meetings, we had decided on this particular topic, which is very, very important in for today's academic careers. And this course is specially meant in shaping next generation of leaders to not only excel professionally, but grow as an responsible citizens rooted in cultural identity. I'm very happy to notify that we have professors for this refresher course from Jawaharlal Nehru University, Delhi, from Indian Institute, IIT Jodhpur, from Central University of Pondicherry. We also have resource persons from Archaeological Survey of India, journalism from Savitribai Phule University, who will be speaking on law. Then we have resource persons from Shivaji University, Kolhapur, Jamia Millia Islamia, Delhi, Vellore Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Hotel Management, Mumbai, MGM University in Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. We are also having resource person from Bundelkhand University, Jhansi, University of Jammu, National Institute of Chemical, Hindu Banaras University, DRDO, Central University of Sikkim, Central University of Himachal Pradesh. We are having resource persons from Aligarh Muslim University, Indira Gandhi National Open University, IIT Mumbai, who is coming from the Department of Civil Engineering. Then we have resource persons from Government Institute of Forensic Sciences, Nagpur, and we also have National resource person from National Institute of Fashion Technology. And of course, from our own university, that is Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University. We have invited resource persons on a very unique topics, that is Buddhist literature, and then we have uh, Pali literature. We have people speaking, resource persons speaking on the Buddhist art. We are having some resource persons from performing arts who will be talking about the ancient dramas, especially Buddhist. Then we have food technology, chemical technology. Some lectures will be from environmental sciences, from psychology, from management science. Then we also have professors from IT who will be speaking on digitalization and IKS, etc., etc. So this is in brief about all the uh, uh, resource persons who will be coming for this refresher course. It took me a lot of time to coordinate with them because it was not easy. As you can see, many of the resource persons are coming from they are very busy and coming from a very highly reputed institutes. I assure you that the collective wisdom present here will guide us towards meaningful outcomes. Before I conclude, I thank Professor C. Upendra Rao for accepting our invitation to be the chief guest of today's inaugural function. I also take this opportunity to thank Professor Dhanashri Mahajan Madam, who has agreed to guide us. And of course, our coordinators, Assistant Director, Dr. Mohammad Rafe, and we also have uh, Dr. Gaurav also with us. Let us begin this journey of discovery and re-embedding Indian knowledge system in our cultural fabric. I hope this would be a very innovative experience for you, as we have tried our level best to bring most innovation and most important resource persons pan India from all over India who are having experiences of 15 to 20 years. Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Rafi.
Thank you, ma'am. Indeed, your expertise will be beneficial to all the faculty members, those who have joined this refresher course. And at the end of the day, we will see that they will take something in their bags, which they will deliver to their colleagues, students, and to the society regarding the Indian knowledge system. So, I would now request roll number 1, Dr. Devidas Bhagat, to give a brief introduction of Upendra Rao, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, you
Very
are.
good morning. Very good morning to everyone. Everyone which are present in this IKS based pressure course for curriculum development. Myself, Dr. D.S. Bhagat. Currently, I am working as assistant professor in Government Institute of Forensic Science, Chhatrapati Sambhaji Nagar. Friends, today we have very eminent, well-known scholar, Professor Sri Upendra Rao sir. It's my fortune to introduce such kind of personality in this online virtual galaxy. Friends, Professor C. Upendra Rao is a distinguished scholar specialized in Sanskrit, Pali, Indian knowledge tradition. He is a professor, senior most professor at the School of Sanskrit and Indic Study at Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, New Delhi. He has previously served as chairperson of Special Center for Sanskrit Study and has been a member of both executive and Executive and Academic Council at JNU. Professor Rao focused on Sanskrit literature and poets, Indian knowledge system, Pali, 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 and early Buddhist philosophy. Over his 16 years as a full professor experience, he has authored and edited in his account around 30 books, including 5 Sanskrit including 5 Sattaka Kavyas in Sanskrit. Additionally, he served as a visiting professor in Cambodia, where he held ICCRS Buddhist. ICCRS means Indian Council for Cultural Relations. ICCRS, which was founded by the first Education Minister Honorable Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad in 1950. Buddhist and Sanskrit study chair established by the government of India. So welcome you, welcome Professor C. Upendra Rao sir in this virtual galaxy in a refresher course in IKS based curriculum development. So over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhagat ji. So I would now request Professor C. Upendra Rao sir to deliver a inaugural address of a 2 to 3 minutes inaugural address. Then we will have a full-fledged lecture of him. So just I would now request him to deliver an inaugural address to all of us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Devidas Bhagatji, for introducing me. I'm happy to participate in the inaugural function of the online refresher course of IKS on skill-based curriculum development, organized by the UGC Malaviya Mission Teachers Training Center, situated at Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Marathwada University in Chhatrapati Shambhaji Nagar of Maharashtra. So, at the outset, let me pay my respects to Professor, your Vice Chancellor, Professor Vijay Fulari, and your Pro-Vice Chancellor, Professor Valmiki Sarvadi, and the Director of this institution, MMTTC, Professor Dhanasri J. Mahajan, and also the Director and also Assistant Director of this institution, Muhammad Abdul Rafi, and more importantly, Dr. Madhuri Sawant, Course Coordinator, who with all pains and risks contacted everybody and convened this course. So at the outset, I'm very happy that to see such a course subject, because the course subject which we have chosen is skill-based development of IKS. So I don't want to speak now about the IKS because you all know, and I am going to speak anyway about the IKS. We are only discussing IKS today, but we must wait for the day when they are truly implemented and practiced in our society. For this, we need to integrate the IKS with the skills. That is why I appreciate to take the subject, the integration of Indian knowledge systems with the skill-based education is a key focus on the National Education Policy, NEP 2020. This approach aims to blend the traditional knowledge with the modern education practices. Why it is needed? Because it is needed to create the holistic learning environment. So this skill-based, when you say skill-based, what is skill-based learning? We should be very clear for that actually. When you are speaking about the IKS and also we are speaking about the skill-based. The skill-based learning is an approach in which the skills are acquired through practice and application of the Indian knowledge systems. That's why I said that today we are only speaking about the Indian knowledge systems, but we are waiting for the day when they are implemented in our society. So that is possible through such subjects, skill-based learning of Indian knowledge systems. The skill-based learning is essential in developing students' abilities to read our ancient literature and to do research on it. Later, to create awareness of how these subjects of Indian knowledge systems can be utilized in day-to-day life in India, particularly in India, because we need to, because these knowledge systems were developed over time in India, but they are forgotten in India only. That is why we want to see this implementation first in India. This approach is important to develop the successful Indian knowledge traditions in present day. In simple terms, Indian knowledge systems refers to the vast, diverse body of the traditional wisdom What is Indian knowledge system? It refers to the vast, diverse body of traditional knowledge system and its practice and the knowledge developed over the millennia in India. So I welcome all of you to this course, and also I appreciate those who are working to develop such subjects, and also those who are organizing this course. And I'm thankful to be invited here to take participation in your program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So I take this opportunity on behalf of Professor DJ Mahajan, Director, Senior Professor of our university campus, to propose a vote of thanks in this inaugural session. Due to some personal assignments, she couldn't join our inaugural session. So on behalf of the director in my institute, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, my special thanks to one of the senior faculty member from JNU, C. Upendra Rao sir, for being here, sparing his valuable time and setting the tone of this event through his valuable inputs through the inaugural address. Now I declare that this inaugural session is over, and I would now hand over the session for a technical session to C. Upendra Rao sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. So now I wanted to start my PowerPoint presentation.
Yes, sir.
So today's topic, I think, is Indian knowledge traditions in Pali literature. And tomorrow I will be speaking on Indian knowledge traditions in Buddhist literature and Buddhism. So now, when we speak about the Indian knowledge traditions in Pali literature, normally we speak about the Indian knowledge traditions in Sanskrit, which is very popular, because the reason is Sanskrit has a lot of scientific literature, a lot of philosophical literature. But Indian knowledge traditions are also preserved in Pali and Prakrit literatures. The ancient Indian culture, literature, and philosophy are represented in 3 languages. That's Sanskrit, Pali, and Prakrit. Therefore, when we speak about the Indian knowledge systems, we must consider not only Sanskrit and also Prakrit and Pali languages. Here, I wanted to say something very important and very interesting also. Now we are speaking about the ancient Indian knowledge traditions in Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, because in our entire literature, ancient Indian literature is preserved in these 3 languages. That is why in ancient period, all Sanskrit departments, most of the Sanskrit departments in India are started with the name of Department of Sanskrit, Pali, and Prakrit. But in course of time, unfortunately, only name remained, but only Sanskrit remained there. Only name is this, Department of Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, but only they started teaching Sanskrit, not Pali, Prakrit. Slowly, Pali and Prakrit disappeared from the department. Even now, you can see Department of such names of the departments in Rohtak, also Marstan University, and also Kurukshetra, and many other universities. You have the name of Department of Sanskrit, Pali, and Prakrit. But there is no any Prakrit and Pali now, unfortunately. It doesn't mean that they became separate departments. They completely altogether disappeared. Only Sanskrit remained, and now again, that is why I wanted to focus on this subject, that in 3 languages we have. We have 18 Vidyas in ancient, our traditional knowledge, in our traditional sciences in ancient India. We have 18 Vidyas, which are 18 traditional sciences of ancient India. These include the 4 Vedas, the 4 subsidiary Vedas. Subsidiary Vedas means Upavedas. The Puranas, Nyaya, Mimamsa, Dharmashastra, Vedanga, and 6 auxiliary sciences. 6 auxiliary sciences means 6 Vedangas. Anga, we say auxiliary. So we have in Vishnu Purana, we have one stanza, Angani Vedas Chatvaru, Mimamsa Nyaya Vistaraha, Puranam Dharmashastrancha, Vidya Hyeta Chaturdasha, Ayurvedo Dhanurvedo, Gandharvaschetite Trayah, Arthashastram Chaturthantu Vidya Yashtha Dasha Smrutaha. So now in this Vishnu Purana verse, 18 Vidyas are very clearly elaborated, explained. Angani Vedaha, 4 Vedas and 4 Vedangas, and 4 Vedas and 4 Upavedas, and then 6 Angas, Mimamsa, Nyaya, Puranam, Dharmashastram. These are the 14 Vidyas. That is first stanza. And after that, what are the remaining 4? Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharvaschetite Traya. Only 3 added. 14 plus 3, 17. And then the one is remaining. The last one is Arthashastram Chaturthantu. The last one is Arthashastra. So Arthashastra is actually the Dandaniti. Arthashastra is very interesting, which is available mostly in Sanskrit literature. So Arthashastra, Dandaniti means how a king should rule his subjects. What are the qualities of the king? What are his duties? And how to develop his kingdom, and all this is the polity and economy, all these, and also morality, ethics, everything is mixed in Arthashastra. And then Pali is a language of the Tripitaka. Now let us know what is a Pali literature, because we are mainly seeing the IKS in Pali. Pali is a language of Tripitaka, which is a collection of scriptures containing the Buddha's teachings, monastic rules, and philosophical analysis. Tripitakas, basically I am describing Tripitakas. Pali literature primarily encompasses the Theravada Buddhist tradition and is founded upon the Pali Canon, Tripitaka, the oldest complete Buddhist scriptures in an Indic language. Which is the Indic language? Pali is the Indic language. That means Indian language, ancient Indian language. The complete total Theravada Buddhist tradition is founded upon the Pali Tripitakas. These Tripitakas are the oldest and complete Buddhist scriptures. Because the Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka, in Tripitakas, we have complete literature of Theravada Buddhist literature. Vinaya Pitaka is a monastic discipline. This is related mostly to the monks and their rules. Sutta Pitaka is completely discourses of the Buddha, Buddha's teachings, marvelous teachings, like Dhammapada, Sutta Pitaka, Sutta Nipata, Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, Kuddaka Nikaya, Jataka is in this. So everything is, Sutta Pitaka is very vast and it's very interesting. Teachings of the Buddha. Everybody likes teachings of the Buddha. Buddha says, Yo sahasam sahasena manusejini. Yo sahasam sahasena sangame manusejini. Eko jineya atthanam save sangama juttam. The person who is conquering the 1,000 people, but the person who is conquering himself, who is the best conqueror? The person who is conquering himself, he says. And then many things like this, Buddha says in Dhammapada and Sutta Nipata, these books. One should read Buddha's teachings. And these about teaching about the Dharma, teaching about the Vinaya also is the Indian knowledge systems. They are also part of Indian knowledge systems. Because Buddha speaks about so much about the Dhamma. Dhamma is very much important. Buddha says, Kulupamam dhammam desesami bhikkhave nisaranathayano gahanathaya. He says that Dharma also is what, whenever you need it, you have to take it, not always. So whenever we are becoming ill, only then we need medicine. So in the same way, whenever you need, you have such dilemma, you have some controversy, you have some problems, then you have to take the Dhamma. It is not that always you are again sticking to Dharma. Sticking to anything, attachment to anything is not accepted by Buddha. Because Buddha says basically everything is anicca, anatta, and dukkha. The essence of the Buddha's teaching is everything is suffering. He started from there. And Abhidhamma Pitaka stays talking about the same philosophy, philosophical doctrine, philosophical and doctrinal analysis is Abhidhamma Pitaka. It talks about the dukkha, it talks about the anicca, it talks about the anatta. Beyond the Tripitaka, Pali encompasses commentaries. They are called Attakathas by scholars like Buddha Ghosha. Buddha Ghosha is very much Indian scholar. He went to Sri Lanka and he composed Attakathas, Bhashyas. Attakatha is Bhashya. Bhashya means commentaries. Not ordinary commentaries, but they are Attakathas. Attakatha means Arthakathas, explanation of the meanings of the Buddha's teachings. Explanation of Attakathas and commentaries on which? Tripitakas. He wrote Bhashya, means Attakathas, and Tripitakas. They are called Attakatha literature because that is separate literature. Like Samanta Pasatika and the Vinaya Pitaka. You see, in entire Vinaya Pitaka, he wrote a Attakatha. Its name is Samanta Pasad. He gave the names. They gave our ancient teachers beautiful names to these books also, again. Like Dighanikaya's Attakatha is called Sumangala Vilasini. Sumangala Vilasini is the Dighanikaya's Attakatha. Vinaya Pitaka's Attakatha is Samanta Pasadika. Then there are sub-commentaries also, such as Paramatha Manjusa on Visuddhi Magga. Visuddhi Magga is written by Buddha Ghosha himself. This is not the part of Tripitakas. Understanding all these Tripitakas, he himself wrote a book. Its name is Visuddhi Maggo. In Sanskrit, you can call it Vishuddhi Marga, the path of purification, where he discusses about the Shila, Samadhi, Prajna. There are several kinds of Shila, Buddha explained. One very popular form of Shila is a Panchashila. We know that Panchashila. In Panchashila, Buddha says 5 kinds of Shilas. Shila means a kind of conduct. 5 types of conduct. First is non-violence. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. Second is not stealing. Adinnadana Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. Third is to be away from sexual misconduct. Kamesu Michachara Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. So in this way, and then comes truth, speaking the truth. Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. Then 5th is not to take intoxications. It's like wine, beer, like this 2 days. But ancient times also various kinds of wine, intoxicated drinks were there. The names are mentioned there in Panchasana. Sura, Meraya, Madhya. 3 kinds of at least is mentioning there. One should not Sura, one should not take the Meraya. And third is Madhya. Madhyapanam is famous. Majja in Sanskrit, in Pali. These three things one should not take. Because when a person takes intoxication, he loses his control on his body. That is why he says, no, you should not take intoxicants. So that is Panchamashila. So in this way, this is Panchashila. And there are Ashtashila, Dashashila, Mahashila also. So Buddhagosha explained all these Shilas in Vishuddhimagga. And the narrative and edifying tales also are there. Like Dasavattu Pakarana. This is a narrative edifying tale. And Sihalavattu Pakarana. These are Pakarana. They are extra, means non-canonical literature composed by Buddhist teachers. There are many like this. There are linguistic works also, like including grammar. In linguistic works means including grammar. Like we have famous two kinds of grammatical tradition in Pali. One is Kachayana Parampara, other is Mogallana Parampara. So Kacha, some people say Kachana, but not Kachana, Kachayana. If you say Sanskrit is Katyayana. And second parampara, second tradition is Mogallana. Mogallana, if you take in Sanskrit, Maudgalyayana. So, and dictionaries we have, linguistics work dictionaries also, like Abhidhamma, Abhidhana Padipika. Abhidhana Padipika is a dictionary in Pali. Like Amarakosha, Vishwakosha, Alayudha Kosha in Sanskrit, we have Abhidhana Padipika. It is in metrical form. Our dictionaries in ancient India were composed in metrical form so that we can remember everything. The present dictionaries are complete, it is like following the Western tradition. That is a problem. The present day problem is we have our education for last several years is based on the Western education style. Eventually, we lost the Indian style of education. Our Indian style of education is the Maukhika Parampara. So memorization is very important in India. All Vedas from last several centuries, many lakhs of years, they are preserved through the oral tradition. After the Buddha's teachings, and after Mahavira's teachings are also preserved, protected through oral tradition in India for several centuries. And that is why dictionaries are composed in metrical form in India, metrical form. And why they are composed in metrical form? And grammatical books like Panini's Ashtadhyayi and secondary books which are based on the Ashtadhyayi are Siddhanta Kaumudi, Lagu Siddhanta Kaumudi. And in Pali, we have Kachayana Vyakarana and Mogallana Vyakarana. All these are composed in sutras, sutra style. Even in Pali, they are composed in a sutra style. Hubbo Raso, there is one sutra in Pali. For example, I am showing you. Aadayo Titali Savarna. Mogallana says there are 43 letters in Pali, starting with Aadayo Titali Savarna. Tetalisa, 43. 43 कुछ लोग कहते हैं 43 भी कहते हैं, but that is directly coming from Pali. You see, Pali has a linguistically predominant role in India. On Maharashtra, Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, on all languages you can find the words of Pali. So that is the linguistic importance of Pali. That is also our Indian knowledge systems. That is one of the important feature of Indian knowledge systems. Understanding our ancient Indian languages, which are the sources of present Indian languages. And these languages were predominantly Prakrits, many kinds of Prakrit. Prakrit is not the name of one language. Prakrit is the name of collective languages. That means there was no any language like Prakrit. Several varieties of Prakrits are called Prakrit language. But Prakrit is a group name of the group of language. But directly you cannot say Prakrit language. Nowadays people are saying, but actually several kinds of which Prakrit you mean? Like Shauraseni Prakrit, Ardhamagadi Prakrit, Magadhi Prakrit, Maharashtri Prakrit. Maharashtri Prakrit was famous Prakrit, which is the main source of Marathi, present day Marathi. Grammarians, Prakrit grammarians said, Maharashtrashrayam bhasham prakrishtam prakritam vidu. The Maharashtri Prakrit is the best Prakrit of all Prakrits. So now, chronicles we have like historical books, Deepavamsha, Mahavamsha. These are the books. But in Pali, we have only Sa, dental Sa. Remember, that is why Sa I wrote. Deepavamsa, Mahavamsa. Because in Sanskrit, we have cerebral, palatal, and dental. 3 kinds of Shas we have. But in Pali, we have only one dental Sa. So Deepavamso, Mahavamso, like this we say. In English, we say Deepavamsa, Mahavamsa I wrote. Offering historical narratives of Sri Lankan Buddhism. Not Sri Lankan Buddhism, they also give they start from India, the history of Buddhism, actually. How Buddha, where Buddha was born, how this literature came, where these Buddhist councils were held. All these important historical events and matters are preserved in Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa and other Vamsa literature. There is Gandhavamsa, there is Sangeeti Vamsa. Many books came later on. Indian knowledge systems such as Arthashastra, Niti Shastra, or the mathematical texts were composed in Sanskrit. So now when you are speaking about the 18 Vidyas, this Arthashastra, Niti Shastra, and mathematical texts were composed basically in Sanskrit or regional vernaculars, not in Pali. Arthashastra, much of the Arthashastra are not available in Pali because Buddha's main concentration was the philosophy. His main concentration was nirvana and the cessation of the sufferings. That is the main problem of the Buddha. Whereas this Arthashastra is related to day-to-day life. Kings and their is for the welfare of the nation, for the welfare of day-to-day life. So Buddha was not much concerned to the day-to-day life because some people say that it is there. Buddha said many things, even for the householders, for the kings also, many things he said, but his main intention is not that. So Arthashastra, mathematical literature, and many things are available only in Sanskrit. Pali is a significant literature that contains the unparalleled words of Bhagavan Buddha. So what is in Pali? Pali literature contains the unparalleled, जिसका parallel नहीं, ऐसा words है भगवान बुद्ध का. And as an ancient language of India, Pali preserves Indian history and various aspects of Indian culture. Pali is a significant literature that contains the unparalleled words of Bhagavan Buddha. That is the importance of Pali. And the second point is, Pali is an ancient language of India. Pali preserves Indian history and various aspects of Indian culture. That is why we are taking Pali literature in the context of IKS. Thus, forgetting this language represents a considerable loss. Pali is our ancient language that plays a dynamic role in the linguistics of entire Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa consisted many countries like Nepal, Afghanistan. Pakistan was not there anyway because it is just a very new country. Afghanistan also was Burma, and all South Asian countries were the parts of our Jambudvipa. And that is why Pali and Sanskrit have the predominant influence on these languages. If you go to Thailand, you have many words of the Sanskrit words and Pali words in Thai language, in Khmer language, in Cambodia, and Laos language. So that is the dynamic form of these languages. But unfortunately, we have forgotten these languages and these literatures in India. So wherefrom we have started forgetting our Indian knowledge traditions also. I can show that a separate lecture is needed. What are the words and what kind of influence Pali has on Southeast Asian languages? Thai, many words. All Sanskrit words they are using. More than us, sometimes, we are using. Like we say, the airport name itself is a Suvarna Bhumi in Thailand. That name itself is given by our ancient sages, our ancient scholars. And in Indonesia, all Indonesian islands were the Indian islands once upon a time. And all the names of the Indonesian islands are Sanskritized names given by the ancient Indians. Yogyakarta, Jakarta, it became. Yavadvipa, because that island looks like Yava. Jau बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में. Jau जैसा दिखाई पड़ता है दूर से. Google Maps में देख लीजिए. So Yavadvipa, that is called Java nowadays. Yava, Java. And here, Suvarnabhumi name is given. And also, if you go to Cambodia, they say that Arun Susadai every day. They never use the English words. Good morning. Nobody uses there. And we are not using any Indian word. We are so confused. Which Indian word we should use for good morning? Good morning only we are using. So they say Arun Susadai in Cambodia. Arun Susadai. Aruna Susadai means Swasti. Swasti they pronounce it because they do not know how to pronounce, because due to their linguistic structure of their languages, they are not able to pronounce Sanskrit words properly. That's why Swasti they Susadai. Arun means Aruna Swasti. They are saying every day. If you go to Thailand, Phuket. Phuket is very famous tourist place nowadays. But actually, Phu means Bhu. Khet means Khet. Means Khet. Khet. In Hindi also we have same word. Khet. Kheti bari. That is Kshetra, Sanskrit. Kshetra is a cultivated land. That is a Khet. The Khet is Pali word also. So Phuket means Bhukshetra. And Nakhon Pathom, they use Nagara Prathama. Nakhon means Nagara. Nakhon, they say. Pathom means Prathama. So in this way, we need a lot of time to explain all these things. Pali language and literature have influenced Indian languages and literatures also. That is very clear. Pali, we have many words in our Telugu language, in your Marathi language and other Hindi language and Kannada language also, and Odia, Bengali. Many words, Pali words we have. So in Odia, we have Gacha. For tree, they say. In Sanskrit, we do not have that word. Gacha, no, in that meaning. Gacha means go, Sanskrit. But in Pali, we have Gacha means tree. In Odia, they have still that word is living because it is very, being Kalinga, it is very close to Magadha. Still, many words are living in that language. In Telugu also, we have many words. You will get boring if I start explaining. Like Nagali, we have. And like Kalankatu, we have. Many words we have. Because you don't know Telugu, that's why it's not a good subject for you. And the IKS is recognized as a guiding principle in the new education policy of India. The IKS, we are speaking about the IKS. Why? It's a guiding principle in new education policy of India 2020. So new courses are being formulated and courses are revised now in entire India. What is the guiding principle behind this? The IKS is the guiding principle, Indian knowledge systems. The IKS integrates spirituality with experimental knowledge. It integrates with spirituality with experimental knowledge. Knowledge was passed down systematically from one generation to the next generation. See, why we are speaking about IKS? Knowledge is not new. Science is not new. We have many wrong notions. Science, we are thinking that it is coming from the West. Not correct. And knowledge is not the prosperity or the wealth of any country. Knowledge is very essential. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitram he vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalena atmani vindati. Buddha also gives very much important to knowledge. Ehi passiko, opanaiko, pachattam veditabbo venyoniti. Buddha says, whatever I am saying, don't believe me. Don't believe me. You test it, whether I am saying correct or not. If you like it, then you can follow my words. Buddha said like that. Ehi passiko, come and see yourself. Investigate whether I am speaking correct or not. Opanaiko, pachattam veditabbo venyoniti. Every learned person, every wise man should investigate himself personally, not because somebody is telling. Something is telling or somebody is, that is why I am following. No, this is not the characteristics of a learned person, wise man. Wise man always examines himself and then accepts. The great poet Kalidasa says same thing. Santah parikshanyatarat bhajanti, mudha parapratyaya neya buddhi. ज्ञानी लोग स्वयं विचार करके स्वयं लेना है या नहीं लेना है, स्वयं विचार करके लेते हैं। मूर्ख आदमी जो है ना, दूसरे बातों के पढ़ते हैं, दूसरों के बातें में पढ़ते हैं. They follow the others' advice. Yes, Kalidasa said like this. Buddha also says same thing. So knowledge was passed down systematically from one generation to other generation. And this Indian knowledge also was passed, but there was a kind of disturbance and break to Indian knowledge traditions in India due to many factors, due to foreign invaders, basically, and due to the British people, how they tried to impose their education system, how they spoiled our education, all these things. And education was primarily transmitted orally in India. In ancient India, education was primarily transmitted orally. They did not give much importance to writing. There was writing at all. There was writing. Actually, there is an argument that Tripitakas were already written in India. Generally, we say that Tripitakas are first written in Sri Lanka. But there is another argument that why they are called Pitakas. Pitakam is baskets. Definitely, our ancient Indians wrote these Tripitakas. So they had the writing system. You see, the evidence is Ashoka's inscriptions. Ashoka's inscriptions are written in Brahmi script. And the language is Prakrit, that is Pali. Pali and Prakrit are same actually. That is another subject. Pali is not separate language because Pali is a variety of Prakrit only. That is accepted by many scholars of linguistics. Because the Pali is not the name of Pali at all. This language which we are calling now Pali was never called Pali in ancient times, even in medieval times. It was started, this name was started only in the beginning of 19th century. Before that, it was called Magadhi. Magadhi was one of the varieties of Prakrit. But this Magadhi changed from that Magadhi because Buddha's teachings started in this. That is why we had to know many things about the Pali. See, everything I cannot teach you in one lecture. It is very difficult. So, education was primarily transmitted orally in ancient India. Later, in later times, knowledge was compiled into texts like the Vedas, Upanishads, Tripitakas, and Jain Agamas. The Indian knowledge systems influenced the Middle East, China, and Europe. Many writers wrote this, Europe also. In History of Indian Sanskrit Literature, MacDonald wrote how science traveled from India to Arab and then from Arab to Europe. Alberuni wrote in his book also. So we are not just boasting, it's a fact that ancient Indian knowledge systems traveled to China, traveled to Europe, and many other countries also. Ancient Indians made great advances in medicine. When we speak about the medicine, this is normally popularly called Ayurveda. But Ayurveda is a collective name of ancient medicine system. There were different kinds of methods of medicine. Even in Pali literature, you can find ancient medicine, not by the name of Ayurveda. But this is an ancient system, ancient practice of our medicine. That is Ayurveda only. Later on, we started that's why I said Ayurveda is a general name of ancient, different kinds of methods of ancient medicine. Ancient Indians made great advances in medicine, as exemplified in the classical, in the classic works of Shushruta, Charaka. But we can find the great contribution of Jivaka in Pali literature. Jivako, Komara Bhacho in Pali we have. Ekam Samayam Bhagava, Rajagahe Viharati, Ambavani, Jivakasa Ambavani. That kind of references comes in Pali literature. Because Jivaka has donated this Amravana, means mango garden, to Buddha. So Jivaka was a doctor in those days, but he was a pediatrician. Komara Bhacho. Komara Bhacho means he was pediatrician, children's doctor, children doctor. And he was personal doctor of the Buddha also. That is why Buddha did not encourage Jivaka to take the monkship. He wanted to become monk. Everybody wanted to become monk in those days with the great influence of the Buddha's teachings. So, Pali Canon, you have the Pali Canon consists of the three main sections: Vinaya Pitaka, monastic discipline, Sutta Pitaka, discourses, and Abhidhamma Pitaka, philosophical. If time is over, please let me know, please. Because we need some time for the question and answers also, because I'm not seeing anything. Only PowerPoint is in front of me. I can't see anything. So, but now
Sir,
I
you
think,
can continue, sir.
okay.
Your lecture will be till 12:30, so by 12:15 you can finish
Okay.
it, and then 10-15 minutes we will have question answers.
Okay. Pali Canon consists of three main sections. Vinaya Pitaka, that is a monastic discipline. Vinaya, there are five sets of books are there. Parajika, Pachitya, all these are the name rules for the monks, basically for the monks. Because it is not easy to join in Buddhism, like present day. There were strict rules for the monks in those days. Parajika, 4 kinds of mistakes. If any monk is doing any mistake, any one of these 4 mistakes, he will completely debarred from the Buddhism. उसको आने नहीं देंगे फिर. Completely they use it to throw him out because they are very grave mistakes, parajika mistakes. And the pachityas means they can again, they have some punishment and again they can come back. So like that, all these monastic discipline is hidden. Also makes so much history, also so much interesting books are there, like Mahavagga, Chullavagga in Vinaya Pitaka. It's a vast literature, not one book. So many books are. It is a bunch of many books. And Sutta Pitaka, discourses. Again, the bunch of many books. Buddha's teachings. Abhidhamma Pitaka, again, philosophical analysis of the Buddha's teachings. Moral teachings only, but the philosophy. Because one thing you should be very clear. What was the purpose of becoming Buddha? After Mahabhinishkramana, he left everybody, his dear wife and his son Rahula. And why he became Buddha? Not to do anything, you see, not to spread some philosophy in the society, not to abolish this Varna system, not to, all these are the small purposes. The basic purpose of Buddha is the cessation of the suffering. That's why he gave the message of Nirvana. So, whatever Buddha speaks, basic content is philosophy only. Philosophy only, but sometimes various things are coming, like in Vedas. You see, in Vedas, the basic thing is describing the glories of the Brahman and also many other things. But in the middle, so much knowledge was there in Vedas. So in the same way, Tripitakas also, you can find the Indian history, Indian culture, various incidents, various historical things, and the histories of the kings like Ajatashatru, Bimbisara, and Vajjiputras, Kosala, Kaushambi, Shravasti, all these Rajagriha, Kushinagara, entire history, Ayodhya also we can find in Tripitakas. Dakhinapadha, South India also. Many things, Ganga, Yamuna, rivers also. So, but all these are the not basic context. Buddha was not the social reformer because everybody was a social reformer. Every great person was a social reformer. But we should not limit Buddha only for the social reformer. No, Buddha's main aim was the philosophy. Philosophy means Buddha's main aim is to spread the deep philosophy, because the philosophy of Abhidhamma, Nirvana. He says Nibbanam Paramam Sukham. These texts serve as a primary source of knowledge in Pali. These texts, Vinaya Pitaka, Sutta Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka, serve the primary source of the knowledge. Somebody is writing on my slide. Some line is appearing. How it is appearing, I don't know.
Sir, by mistake, I feel I'm just trying to contact them to inquire who is doing it. You can please continue, sir. No problem.
Yeah. So because people may think that I put this line. No, I'm not putting any line on this. This is
No, sir. I think mistakenly somebody has done it. So
this
we
is not
will
possible.
inquire it.
Not
You
be
please
very careful.
continue, sir.
Participants should be very careful. They should not do such grave mistakes. They're cutting out the slide is
Yeah, it is not
grave
good.
mistake.
Yeah. Yes.
So these
Yes.
texts are the primary source of Indian knowledge of Pali. These texts, you see, Sutta Pitaka, Vinaya Pitaka, Abhidhamma Pitaka, are considered the primary sources of Indian knowledge systems. Additionally, Pali texts address societal norms, relationships, and the principles of governance, often encompassing the importance of compassion and non-violence. So this is all additionally, I told that in course of time, all these things also you can find in Pali Tripitakas. The basic teachings of the Buddha are cessation of the suffering, because Buddha found four noble truths: dukkho, dukkha samadayo, dukkha nirodho, dukkha nirodha gamani, patipada, arya sacho. So these four arya sachas. Arya sacha means arya satyas. Arya sacha is a Pali word. So Buddha understood there are four kinds of truths in the world, nothing else. First truth is there is suffering in the world. The world is full of suffering. And this suffering is originating. It's not static. It is not constantly staying. Buddha did not accept anything staying constantly. Everything is changing. So which is permanent? Somebody asked Buddha, which is permanent? He said that this process of changing is permanent. So Buddha says that there is a suffering, and the suffering also is not completely staying in the world. It is originated. Dukkha samadayam is that actually. Second Arya Satya. Dukkha is originated. Originated means it was not there. It is taking birth. That is why third Arya Satya, Dukkha Nirodho. Buddha, Dukkha can be have the cessation also. Uska Nirodh bhi sambhav hai. The Nirodha of Dukkha, cessation of Dukkha also is possible. And the fourth one is the path of cessation of the suffering. That is the eightfold path, noble eightfold path, Arya Ashtanga Marga. So Samma Ditti, Samma Sankappo, Samma Ayamo, all these are this eightfold path. So these four Arya Satyas are very important. That is why Buddha's main concern is on the suffering and the cessation of the suffering also, and also how to get the cessation, this is Marga. So additionally in politics, you can find these societal norms, relationships, principles of governance, and often compassing the importance of compassion and non-violence also. All these things are there, but these are not main teachings of the Buddha. Philosophical interpretations of Pali literature. Pali literature encompasses a range of philosophical interpretation of the Buddha's teachings, with notable schools such as Theravada, with The Theravada is very oldest. Thera means actually old. Sthavira is a Sanskrit word for that. Oldest tradition of the Buddha, that is Theravada. That Theravada means that, which emphasizes individual's liberation through personal effect. In Theravada, that is a Pachekam Veditabbo Vinyohiti. That is the meaning of the Buddha. That is the basic teaching of the Buddha. That is the essence of the Theravada. You see, through personal effort, everybody Attaiva Attano Natho. Attahi Attano Natho. Buddha says, nobody can save you. You have to save yourself. Your teacher cannot save you. That is why in Theravada, there is no teacher. You are teacher to yourself. So, but some people say there is no teacher in Theravada. That is not correct, because there is a teacher in Theravada. Buddha is a teacher for everybody. So, through personal effort, you have to strive for the liberation. Personal effort. That is why Arhata tradition is there. There are 4 types of ways: Sotapanno, Sakadagami, Anagami, Arhat. These are the 4 levels. And you should try to reach the Arhat level. Arhat is a great person. And when you reach the Arhat, that means you got the Arhat is like Jivan Mukta in Vedanta. That he's got liberation by living only. How to get? Because he understood the Nirvana. Nirvana means what? Nirvanam Paramam Sukham. Nirvana is the ultimate bliss. That is what Upanishads also says. Ananda Deva Khalvimani Bhutani Jayin. Ananda is a Brahman. And Buddha says the Nirvana is what? Paramam Sukham. Buddha also says Paramam Sukham is the Nirvana. The Buddhist ethics preserved in Pali literature can contribute significantly to addressing the environmental crisis also. This is one of the important features of the Pali literature. When you speak about the Indian knowledge system, you have the lot of material to environmental ethics in Pali literature. In Angulimala Sutta, Theragatha has the Angulimala Sutta. Angulimala says, I remained under the trees of the forest and in the caves of the mountains. Angulimala says. The Angulimala was a great thief. Everybody was afraid of him. Then Buddha approached him without fear. Then Angulimala, the story you know that Angulimala became the disciple of Buddha, and later he became monk, Buddhist monk. And he says this, oh, I'm sitting now in the same forest with peace, mental peace. But he quotes under the trees, he says, under the trees of the forest and the caves of the mountains. These are all environmental issues in Pali you can get. Again and again, there is the importance of forests, there is the importance of trees, there is the importance of gardens, animals, birds. These are all, Pali literature is full of these. That shows the environmental significance of the Pali literature. That is one of the features of Indian knowledge systems. And Angulimala Sutta only, he says, the same Pali Gatha I'm quoting, Gamiva Yedivaranye, Ninneva Yediva Thale, Yatharahanto Viharanti, Tam Bhumim Ramaneyakam. That comes in Dhammapada, this Pali verse. And Buddhist economics also. Buddhist economics, that is also, you have a lot of ancient economics in Pali literature. That is one of the features of the ancient Indian knowledge treasures, knowledge treasures. So that is one of the traditions, knowledge treasures. Buddhist economics is an attractive term that I have come across. I learned that it was coined in 1973 by economist E.F. Schumacher. This term, in first term, this Buddhist economics in 1973, Schumacher used this Buddhist economics. Similarly, some scholars tried to, but the only term he chose, but Buddhist economics is there in that subject at all. Already it is there. But this term, newly he used the term, E.F. Schumacher used this term in 1973, Buddhist economics. It's a very attractive term. Similarly, some scholars tried to focus on topics like Buddhist mindfulness and business skills in Buddhism. And in Pali literature, Buddhist and business skills in Pali literature, business in Pali literature, and mindfulness in Pali literature, but that is related to psychology, present-day psychology. However, it seems they could not provide satisfactory solutions on how Buddhist teachings are suitable in the contemporary corporate world. But Western people try to do this Buddhist business, but they should not show, because business and Buddhism both are very different, but they could not show. But ultimately, we can understand for business, we need all this kind of mental peace and concentration, Shila, Samadhi, these things. And they are there in Buddhism. They are very much helpful for the business also eventually. That's why you can say that there are business skills in Buddhist Pali literature also. And this Pali and the 18 major Vidyas, Ashtadasha Vidyas, where is the Pali? So now I'm going deep into the subject. Unfortunately, we do not have much time. Tradition identified 18 Vidyas or theoretical disciplines, as well as 64 kalas, which are applied or vocational disciplines of the crafts. These are the crafts, they are called. They are applied disciplines, they are crafts in ancient India. That they are one of them in 18 Vidyas. The 18 Vidyas consist the following 4 Vedas, which I have already explained. The 6 auxiliary sciences include phonetics, grammar. Now I am in detail, I am explaining 18 Vidyas here. Together, these are the 18 Vidyas, but now important is the Shilpa Vidya. Sippa in Pali. Sippa Vidya you can find in Pali. It can be found in Udana of the Khuddaka Nikaya of Sutta Pitaka. In Udana, you can find Sippa Vidya. Sippa means craft. In Sippa Sutta, there is separate Sippa Sutta, craft Sutta in Pali literature. In Sippa Sutta, we can find the details about the various crafts, such as the elephant craft, horse craft, chariot craft, archery, swordmanship, signaling, calculating Shilpa Vidya, that is one of the crafts, accounting, writing, literary composition, cosmology, and some mention geomancy also. These are the crafts in ancient times. In Pali literature, the seed is considered essential, while rain is regarded as the best element for growth. Numerous contexts in Pali literature emphasize the importance of agricultural work. You can find agricultural system and agricultural works in Pali literature. That was one of the best professions in ancient times, because ancient Indians, in my view, they found the agriculture. Many things. They found the plow. They found, they were the inventors of the curd, how to prepare the curd. They were the inventors of the ghee, how to prepare the ghee, because that was used for the yajnas. So agriculture was the main profession in those days. You can find so many references of agriculture in Pali literature. There was a Kasi Bharadwaja. Many people used to do agriculture in those days. And a lot of description you can find in Pali literature about the agriculture. I think I stop here.
Yes, sir.
We can find some questions if somebody is having. We can.
If anybody is having questions, you can go ahead on your video and you can ask.
Sir, my name is Archana. Hello, sir.
I'm here very much because I stopped because it may be disturbing for you.
So thank you for your delivering a very nice lecture. And I have one question. Sir, you told that there are 4 stages to got the Nirvana stage. 4 stages. So I want to know the shortly what should we do for getting that stage?
Oh, it is very difficult. There are no shortcuttings in getting Nirvana.
No, I just want to know by reading books or reading literature and implementing with that in our life.
Yeah.
But what is the actual path?
See, for nirvana, first you should get the dispassion, vairagya, detachment. The whole Pali literature, Buddha says again and again, have detachment to this world. There is nothing in the world. There is suffering in the world. So be detached to this world and concentrate on the permanent peace. And if you grow to that level, you may get nirvana after some births, not in this birth. This is a continuous practice. And the person who got nirvana, for him, no need of university education, a job and all these things, because he will reach to the very highest level. Some people by birth, you can find such people. Some people are by birth, they have such level. Buddha was like that. And Buddha's, among the Buddha's disciples also, there were some people like Shariputra, Kalyayana, Upali, Ananda. They were like that. That is why they reached to that level. For ordinary people, they had to try. You see, your question is, I'm understanding, nirvana is not that. See, if you do some meditation, you may get some peace and some detachment for some time. But nirvana is not like that. Once you get the nirvana, again, you will not come to this world. You will be always in peace. So to reach that level, I'm saying, nirvana is that level. Nirvana is not ordinary peace. Ordinary peace you can get through so many means, so many best means. Like for example, some meditation also, some recitation also you may get. But you cannot call that is a nirvana. That is a momentary for some time only. But nirvana is ultimate peace. Ultimate peace, all this is the first you should think that you should realize that there is a suffering in the world. And you should follow all kinds of Shila, Samadhi, Prajna. And Buddha also never said that anybody is getting directly nirvana. There is a gradation, there is a process. All these things are there. Four noble truths first you should understand. For the understanding, for getting nirvana. What are the four noble truths? I said, no, there is a suffering in the world. You should understand suffering is getting originated. That can be cessation is possible. And there is a eightfold path also. You know, eightfold path, what it contains? To speak truth, to do non-violence. All these things you should do, then only you will get nirvana. Buddha gave the path. He never said that directly anybody is getting nirvana. There may be some people, like great arhants, they might have got it, but not everybody.
Any other
You
questions?
said spirituality with experimental knowledge, integrate spirituality with experimental knowledge. Sir, I want to some details.
Yeah. Spirituality with experimental knowledge means experimental knowledge is our knowledge, present day knowledge which we have in day-to-day education. These are the experimental knowledge. Means we are studying and also we are doing experiments, and also this the present day education that should be mingled and that should have the coherence with the spirituality. So what it means is spirituality is the basic force of our ancient Indian knowledge systems. Whatever I spoke about the Buddha so far, and what if you study like great books of our ancient India in Sanskrit, like Vedas, Upanishads, and Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutras, all these things also. Spirituality is the driving force. So today we have forgotten the spirituality. We are accustomed only, we are attached to only the materialistic livelihood, materialistic life. There is one famous verse in Sanskrit, Ahara Nidra Bhayamedhunani Samanyametat Pashubhirnarana Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho Dharmena hina Pashubhis samana. So what making us human beings? Because we are following dharma. Remaining things, even animals also are doing. So there comes the spirituality. Spirituality follows the dharma. Spirituality, that means that's coming through detachment. And that spirituality we are lacking, and that should be combined with the experimental knowledge. That means spirituality is not just only is a phobia, but it should be combined with that is also experimental knowledge, and that should be combined with the modern day education. Then the para and apara vidyas both combined, that will become complete education. Spirituality is the para vidya. Modern day education, the education which we are studying, experiments which we are doing, many sciences, they are called apara vidya. So they both should combine. That is the meaning of integration of spirituality, this present day education. Combination of para and apara vidya. You see, any one is incomplete. If you do only spirituality, that becomes incomplete because you are living in the world. And if you are doing only materialistic life, that becomes like an animal life. That just now I read the stanza. Animals also are doing. Animals also are eating. Animals also are sleeping. Animals also are getting children. All these things. So that is why dharma becomes very important. Buddha gave importance to dharma. Ye dhamma hetu pabhava hetum tesam tathagato aha tesanchayo nirodho evam vadi mahasamano. That is what the meaning of that. Like that, we have plenty of verses in Pali. So, whole teachings of the Buddha, they are now we are calling Tripitakas, but ancient time they were not called Tripitakas. Entire teaching was called Tripitaka. Buddha's teachings were called Dhamma Vinaya. You should know that. Teachings of the Buddha had the ancient name is Dhamma Vinaya. Once Ananda asked Buddha in Mahaparinirvana Sutta, Ananda asked Buddha, after you, who will be our teacher? Who will be the leader? Buddha never said that Ananda, you can become. No. Ananda was the dearest disciple. But he never said like that. Buddha said that, yo mamachaye, dhammocha vinayocha te satta. After me, my dharma and vinaya, that means my teachings. So Buddha's teachings are called Dhamma Vinaya teachings. So Dhamma is Buddha's teachings. That is why we should not forget the Dhamma.
Any other questions?
You see, the main the summary of this lecture is you should search Indian knowledge traditions in Pali literature.
Hello, sir. May I audible?
Basic theme. You see, for example, I have shown the crafts, how crafts were used. Agriculture was there, importance of water was there, because later slides very elaboratively I have explained. But I stopped there because due to the time.
Yes.
How they gave importance to agriculture, how they gave importance to water, environmental ethics. These things are the parts of Indian knowledge traditions, and they are available in Pali literature. And for that, you should study Pali literature. It should be popularized. Pali language should be popularized. In our NEP 2020, there is a mention that there will be a Pali institution in India. So far, nothing has taken place. So this education should be, that is what actually, we should use Pali literature to develop to identify our Indian knowledge traditions, Indian knowledge systems. That is the main theme of our lecture. And your question is something very deep. The first who asked how to get nirvana very quickly, that is okay. That is very philosophical question. And but basically, no, we are not talking much about the philosophy. The main theme of my lecture is searching Indian oral traditions in Pali literature. So that is the main theme of my lecture.
Sir, we have one more question. Yes. You can please
Hello,
ask.
sir. Hello, sir. You was in your lecture. You was talk about the Dhamma, and one more thing. You talk about the monk. Monk. So what are the means which are the criteria or requirement to become a monk or that they are nowadays Buddhist monk.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now when we explain about Angulimala is also monk. So please glimpse on the glimpse on the a few things about the monks. Thank you,
So
sir.
yours your direct question. What do you want to ask?
About
What
monk, about monks, sir.
what is about monks?
Monk, M-O-N-K, monk.
I understood monk, but what do you want to say about monks? What is your question?
Now, when we explain about monk, you share about the detachment of the from few physical things. So I couldn't understand the things.
Okay, your question you are not able to ask clearly. So you mean that what characteristics or what qualities make a
Yes,
man
yes,
monk? You mean
yeah. Yes, sir.
monk means actually don't use monk because I was speaking in English, that's why I used the monk. Monk means bhikshu actually.
Nowadays in China, in Shaolin temples or in the Asian country, there is a Buddhist monk is there. So there is different type
Monk
of
they are
the
using monk. I say
yeah
because the monk I say monk actually.
monk.
Monk is like a little bit Bengali pronunciation because everything is they say like this. But I said monk. But you are saying same thing monk, but whatever is there pronunciation. Actually, it's a bhikshu is a name. Leave that monk. Bhikshu. Who can become bhikshu? The person who is having all this strict life is bhikshu. The person who is speaking truth, the person who is not indulgent in the stealing, the person who is not involved in sexual misconduct, the person who is not taking wine, the person who is generous, the person who is helping others, all good qualities. The person who is following Dhamma, basically, he is deserving to become a Buddhist monk. That means Bauddha Bhikshu. Bauddha Bhikshu is
Thank
a
you.
great quality, great turn. Bauddha Bhikshu is a great person. But now, if you want to ask that if all Buddhist Bauddha bhikshus of present day are like that or not, that is it your question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you cannot expect the present day and everything changed. Present day quality reduced in everything, even in monks, even in Buddhist monks also. You can find different kinds of Bauddha bhikshus now. You cannot expect everything, but the ancient times it was like that. Monk, even now we have very good Bauddha bhikshus. Bauddha bhikshus are the leaders of the society who can become ideal to rest of the people. There are such great Bauddha bhikshus are there even now. But there may not be some people like that in present day. That in the present day everything is diluted, like our food. Food also is not, we are not correct getting the pure food, like that. Okay.
I want to ask one question.
Yeah.
Sir, you believe in spirituality?
Huh?
You believe in spirituality?
Yeah.
Spirit-
I believe spirituality very much.
because I believe in spirituality, but somebody's other says that you there is nothing in spirituality. That's why I I want to. You read many books. That's why I want to ask you. You also believe in spirituality, or
Thank you very much. This is a basic question.
because many people do not believe in spirituality.
Yeah. Those who do
I,
not
I,
believe spirituality will get a lot of problems in their life. Spirituality is the solution. And at the time of your suffering in life, because life is always not smooth. Somebody praises you, somebody abuses you. Today you are getting praise, tomorrow you will get abuse. Life is not constant. Always nobody is happy, nobody is worried completely. And the famous poet of Sanskrit literature, Ashwaghosha, who wrote Buddha Charita Mahakavya, he says like this, Nahyasti ekanta sukham karti. He says something like very important. What he says, in the world, there are no person is completely happy. No person is completely sad. So therefore, what happens in life, pleasures and pains are coming. The great poet Kalidas also says, Buddha also says like this. They are like coming like the wheel, Today pleasure, tomorrow pain. Today pain, tomorrow pleasure. So that is why whenever you are getting pains and sufferings in the world, in your day-to-day life, spirituality will help you. If you are attached too much to this world, and if you are completely indulged, attached to this worldly, if you expect every time, every day, praises only, it's not possible. Somebody will be there ready to abuse you, to spoil your name, to create problems. So that you have to face in your life. How you are facing? You are facing through detachment. You are facing with the balance. The spirituality only is the path. That is the meaning of the path of purification. Buddha Gosha says, Visuddhi Maggo, path of purification. Spirituality only can save you. Spirituality can bring the balance of your mind, and that is the secret of your health problems also, health issues also. You know how present day health is being spoiled of the people? Because of the hatred. Because of jealousy. People are getting blood pressure and sugar, all these problems, not due to food habits, due to their mind. They are getting these problems. For that, actually, this is the great Indian knowledge system that is hidden in Pali literature. Read Dhammapada, you will understand how spirituality can help you in your life.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Is anybody appointed for giving the vote of thanks? You can please.
Yes, madam.
Yes.
Very good afternoon, everyone. I propose here vote of thanks. Thanks. In the very first session of this refresher course, a course in Indian knowledge system, which is used to upgrade the curriculum. The first lecture, now in keynote address at first lecture, Professor Upendra Rao glimpse on Pali literature, Buddhist literature, Sanskrit literature, and also sir also deliver a very lucid lecture in a very informative language and in very simple language. Sir also focused on the different type of the 18 type of vidyas. So glimpse on the what is Dhamma, what is Panchashila. Then in the case of Indian knowledge system, how Pali literature contribute how Pali literature contribute in a different innovations includes agriculture, medicine, mathematics, and also sir also focus on the also how Pali literature contribute in economics, business, the science of agriculture, how the invention of curd, invention of ghee, and sir also focused on the different words which it came from the Pali literature into the Indian language, different Bengali language, Oriya language, and also, sir, also focused on the sir, in very informative way, sir, focused on the how Pali literature not only limited to India, but also it is limited to the overall the worlds, like include Cambodia and different type of the different Asian countries. So, on behalf of UGC, HRDC, MMTTC, Madan Mohan Malviya Teaching Center, and staff includes course coordinator coordinator, Professor Madhuri Sawant Madam Ji, and coordinator and assistant director, Dr. Rafe sir, and all participants which are joining from the various part of the India. So thank you very much, sir, for enlightening us, for enriching us, and you also give the very informative lecture about the importance of Pali literature in the Indian knowledge system. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you so much. It was a wonderful lecture, and thank you again for accepting our invitation. Thanks.
Thank you. And particularly in vote of thanks, he quoted all things, very briefly, whatever I am
Yes,
very
sir.
happy for that. And
It
thank you.
was really an informative lecture, sir.
काही नाही होत, थोडंसं बस काही वाटलं ना.
नमस्ते चाललंय झालं.
Thank you. We'll meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
yes, sir. Tomorrow we will meet
Thank you.
again. Yeah, we will. Yeah, participants. We are having.
Ma'am, we can't
No.
hear you. You are on
Yeah.
mute. Sorry.
Okay, so now we are
Okay,
having
good.
our second lecture. Professor Dr. Rajesh has already arrived. So you can please continue.
Rajesh Ragde, sir.
Yes, roll number 2.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, all. Let me introduce you our chief guest of this afternoon by describing their remarkable career and contributions. Dr. Rajesh Ragde is a distinguished academician, visionary researcher, and tourism expert from Maharashtra. Dr. Rajesh is a professor in the Department of Tourism Administration and director of the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Research Center at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad. He is a recognized expert in the field of tourism and serves as a member of various academic and governmental bodies, including the UGC, MPSC, Government of Maharashtra, CBSC, Ministry of Tourism, and academic committees of Jawaharlal Nehru University and over 40 other Indian universities. Dr. Rajesh has held several important administrative positions such as Controller of Examinations, Director of Student Welfare, Dean of Management Science, and Director of IQSC and Tourism. He is the first researcher in Maharashtra to be awarded a PhD in tourism planning and development, and also holds additional postgraduate degrees in physics, electronics, business management, and education. His pioneer research covers a wide range of areas, including Ambedkar tourism, tourist police, ecotourism, rural tourism, fort tourism, Sufi tourism, and medical tourism. Many of his research findings have been incorporated into undergraduate and postgraduate syllabus, the UGC NET syllabus, and published in the Encyclopedia of Tourism Management in London. At present, Dr. Rajesh is conducting cutting-edge research on scientific heritage with a special focus on the creation of the lunar crater. Supported by the Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. So far, he has successfully completed 12 research projects. Beyond academics, Dr. Rajesh is a versatile personality, a visionary director, and efficient administrator, a social scientist and scholar of Buddhism, and a wide reader with over 6,000 books in his personal library, a professional photographer exhibiting across India, and archaeologist credited with discoveries at Ghatachkoch caves and ancient town Rajatgarh, an art collector with over 1,000 historical artifacts. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome Dr. Rajesh to today's refresher course on Indian knowledge system, skill-based curriculum development. His vast experience and versatile personality inspire us all, and we are extremely grateful to have him with us today to share his valuable insight. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
आई थिंक सर का नेटवर्क इशू हो चुका है, एक 2 मिनट्स।
Again, depend right now. So, Namaskar. Am I audible, everybody?
यस सर।
Yes, sir. Namaste.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. So, there is a issue of the electricity here. So, the light just went off when I was being introduced. So, we will just resume the session. I'll not be using any PowerPoint. So, we are all teachers, assistant professors, and we are into the teaching profession, very noble profession. So today I'll not give you a lecture, rather I would be sharing my thoughts. My thoughts on the Indian knowledge system. So actually, when we talk about this system, I will just like to highlight some of my aspects. Like I was being introduced, so I have done my master's in physics and electronics and education and management. So many degrees I've taken. And lastly, I've done my master's in tourism administration. And then I joined in the Department of Tourism Administration. So since last 30 years, I'm working here. Now, why I'm telling you this? This is just to share whatever I have learned in this 30 years as a student, as a professor. So I'm going to share that knowledge, share that information. And it is not one way. So the today's session would be two-way communication. I would like to hear from you. So like last year, I was the coordinator of the same course of IKS. So we had listened to several professors across the country. And this year again, I'm being invited as the resource person. So last year I didn't get opportunity to share my thoughts, but this year I got this opportunity, and I thank the MMTTC and the coordinator for inviting me. So basically, we have to understand Indian knowledge system. So I, K, and S. So I means Indian, K means knowledge, and S means system. It is very simple. Now, as you know that I got some information from the Ministry of Education website. I'll just brief that in a very simple manner, because I want to give you some authentic information and why we are running this course and what is the output of this particular course that we have to understand today. So basically, according to the Ministry of Education on that website, I'll just share some information about Indian knowledge system. They say that it is the Indian way of doing things. One point is mentioned. And the second very important part is that the NEP 2020 recognizes this heritage of ancient and eternal Indian knowledge and thought as a guiding principle. The IKS comprises of the Gyan, Vigyan, and the Jivan Darshan that has evolved out of experience, observation, experimentation, and rigorous analysis. This tradition of validating and putting into practice has impacted our education, arts, administration, law, justice, health, manufacturing, and commerce. This has influenced classical and other languages of Bharat that were transmitted through textual, oral, and artistic knowledge. So, knowledge of India, in this sense, includes knowledge from ancient India and its success and challenges, and a sense of India's future aspirations specific to education, health, environment, and indeed all aspects of life. Now, under this NEP, now today I am just going to discuss, or rather, we are going to understand what is IKS. Because in the coming 2 weeks, you are going to hear to different professors and eminent scholars who would be sharing their knowledge, they're sharing their short thoughts. But here I would like to share that in the last year, when we had this session, and when I was being trained as a trainer for the IKS last 2 3 years back, so what we were taught, or what lectures we attended, what text we got, so something was missing. So I thought that because of this 2 years of experience in IKS, I thought that I should make you understand IKS in a different aspect. So that is the main purpose of today's discussion. Now the NEP, they have incorporated this IKS, and it is in a scientific manner, and they have incorporated it to the school and the college or the higher education curriculum. Now in this knowledge, what they have done, they have included the tribal knowledge, indigenous and traditional ways of learning, and it will cover and include mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, yoga, architecture, medicine, agriculture, engineering, linguistics, sports, literature, games, as well as the governance, polity, and conservation. Specific courses in tribal ethno-medicinal practices, forest management, traditional organic crop cultivation, natural farming, etc. And IKS will also be available to the students in the secondary school. Now, this is what I got from the Ministry of Education website. Now, we will keep this paper aside. Now, we will come for the discussion. So, we have to understand what is IKS. Like I stands for India and K for knowledge and S for system. But when you translate this, or when we find IKS in the Hindi version, it says Bharatiya Dhyan Parampara. Parampara is tradition, and system is different, and parampara is system, it is different. So first thing is that there is a little bit of confusion. In English, we say IKS, Indian Knowledge System, and in Hindi, we say Bharatiya Dhyan Parampara. So this parampara, tradition and system, we have to understand this is something different or something similar. It is for you to understand and how you are going to take it. So that we will see in the later part. But when we say Indian, so what do you mean by India? Anybody would like to share? What do you understand by the term India or Indian? Are you allowed to speak here? You can
Yes, sir.
use the chat box. So, number 42, the participant. So, what do you understand by India or Indian?
Sir, India is the country, the name. That's like an Indian means the person, the citizen, and who is belong to Indian, that who carry the complete the knowledge as well as culture and tradition and everything. Who is belongs to complete the who is having the citizenships in this country. That person we can call he's the Indian. India is the country, and like the under geos area wise, and we can take that.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Sir, please.
India is mainly derived from the Indus River in Sanskrit.
Okay.
So that's why we people are now in the Indus River. So that's why it's named as India.
Okay. So now, dear friends, we will first understand India and Indian knowledge system. Basically, when we talk about the country India, that is Bharat, the Constitution of India, the first page says that India, that is Bharat. The opening words, if you have read the Constitution, Bharat. Bharat is a geographical area. India is having a boundaries. We know today's India because we are living here. But when we come to the Indian knowledge system, so it is not confined to the map of India, what we see today. So you just go back. You can just see. Now, it is not possible for me to show you this presentation. I have one, but I'm using madam's system. So, and again, in the next 2 days, I'll be coming again for another session. In that, I'll be talking about the IKS past, present, and future. So that time, maybe I'll show you some slides. But now, to understand, today's India is a very small country. If you know the country, the ancient India, now we have the different empires which we have seen in the past, in the history. Just when we got the independence, India was being ruled by, a part of India was being ruled by the Britishers. That is known as the British India, or it was known as Hindustan. So in that we find a major geographical area was there. And again, during that 1947, when we got the independence from the British, we also had the small and big princely states that were numbering more than 550, 555 or 556 precisely. You can check the number. So during 1947, India was being ruled by the Britishers along with the small and big princely states, 555 plus. So these were the small and big kingdoms along with the British. Now, when we go back and back into the history, we will find before the 550 and the Britishers, we had the Mughal rule. And again, about before that, so we'll go backwards. We have seen the rule of the Mughals and the Emperor Akbar was there, Emperor Aurangzeb and all. They had the big empires. We will go back. So when we go back, we will find the era of Chandragupta Maurya. And he had a large empire. After that, his grandson, the greatest emperor of all times in the world, Emperor Ashoka, he had a huge empire. Now, that time, the ancient India, the Mauryan Empire or the Ashokan Empire, the boundaries which you can see on the map. If you see the map of the Ashokan Empire, you can count at least 10 countries which are independent countries, neighboring countries. So the Ashokan Empire extended till that countries. It was a huge geographical area. That is ancient India. You try to understand. India is not a small country like today. Ancient India was very large. It was a huge empire. Now, we will come down. When we come down, we go to the south of India, we will find that the Indian emperors also ruled the parts of the South Asia. It is again going down till Cambodia, Indonesia. So we find this. So we will take some references. So the major area of India in the ancient times, it is not limited only to the Indian subcontinent, but it is also extending towards South Asia. So it's such a huge geographical area. Once upon a time, that was the ancient India during different eras. Now we have to understand what is the Indian knowledge system. So my point is we cannot confine India to today's India and the knowledge to today's India because the ancient India was very big. Now we will have some important points. First, we will take now. First, you understood what is my point that ancient India we have to take into consideration. Whenever we are talking about IKS, we should also always consider the ancient India because the boundaries extended, the culture extended till that area, the religion and all. We will come to that again. Now, when we talk about this Jnana Parampara, as you are aware that the first universities in the world. Now, when it comes to knowledge, we will segregate it further. But first, we have to understand knowledge. What is knowledge and where it was being imparted? So, knowledge in India, I will be talking about some important aspects of the Indian tradition, Indian society, and we will just take the example of education, ancient education. Now, in India, you know that there was the Varna system. There were four basic Varnas. Now, we will not go into that. But education was limited to only two Varnas in the upper section of the system. Only two categories, the upper two categories, were allowed to take the education. Only those people were imparted education. So we find certain references, like in the Mahabharata, we find the story of Guru Dronacharya and the princess, the Pandavas. So what happened there and how a tribal came, Eklavya, a tribal prince, and he was denied the opportunity to education. So he did his own, he made the own sculpture, something like that, and he learned the archery and all. Again, he came to, after learning the archery, he came to Dronacharya. And Dronacharya asked for his thumb as Guru Dakshina. Now, we have this reference. Now, my point is, in ancient India, education was limited to very few people. And that few people were actually very few in number, very less in number. Now, if we take the population of today's India, only a small part, today's India, it is just 145 crores. What we hear from the updates from the Prime Minister. Every time he gives update. 125 crore, 130 crore, 35 crore, right? So we will assume that the population of India is 140, 145 crores. But if you go back 1947, it is hardly 35 crores. If you go back into the ancient India, definitely it is less. Again, in that, if you just think about the people who are entitled to take education, they are very less in number. Now, we have the system of Gurukul in the ancient times where the pupil, where the small child in the Brahmacharya ashram is going for the education purpose to the Guru, to the Gurukul for first 25 years in the system, Brahmacharya. He will be imparted with the education. So very less students in the Gurukul are studying. But again, in the ancient India, we find the first university of the world, that is Nalanda. Nalanda Mahavira. Nalanda University, it began as the Nalanda Mahavihara. Maybe Professor Upendra Rao was there in the morning session. I think he might have given you a reference. But Buddha himself had visited the Nalanda Mahavihara. This is the reference which we get. And this Mahavihara was later converted into the university. And again, the second university is the Takshashila. Now it is in Pakistan. Now it is in Pakistan, but that time it is in the ancient India. Okay. So the first university of the world, that is Nalanda and Takshashila. And after that, we get the references of several universities. And after that, we'll find like maybe some 16 universities: Nalanda, Takshashila, Ujjaini, Vikramshila, and so on. We can find numerous. So these knowledge centers were there. And who are the students who are coming here? Who are the students who have come here for the education? Now, I am trying to correlate the Indian knowledge and the area where the students are coming. So we find that we find the students. Suppose if it is in Nalanda, we find the very famous Chinese scholars, Yuan Sang, Fa Hen, and all. So these we have read the stories and we have read so much about them in the Indian history. Actually, these are the evidences of the ancient Indian history, because there are only two sources of knowing the past ancient India. One is through the Buddhist literature, which is well preserved, and the second is the travel accounts of the foreign travelers. So many accounts we will find, but the most famous description of India comes in the travel accounts of Yuan Sang and Fa Hen. So we find that the students are coming from China, from Korea, from Japan, from Tibet, Central Asia, Persia, Greece, then Burma, Indonesia, Thailand. So we can name so many countries, and during that time, what we find that the foreign students, they are coming to have their degrees to learn something in India. And what they have learned, we will not go into that because so many professors will be speaking on what kind of education was there and all. But we have to understand that I have named certain countries, and these countries are connected with India for the purpose of education. So that means these students who came from different parts of the ancient world, they studied here in India in the different universities. Maybe they settled down in India or maybe they went back. So the knowledge of ancient India, it has traveled with them to their country. And again, their knowledge they have also shared, and we have also inculcated that knowledge into our country. Now it is very interesting. Now, if I ask you, uh, who is the Aboriginal of India? Aboriginal, what you can say? Anybody? भारत भारत का मूल निवासी कौन है? In Hindi we will say like this. मराठी we say मूल निवासी. Anybody would like to share? The Aboriginal of India, who are the people?
Sir, Adivasi, sir.
Okay, Adivasi. We can say Adivasi. Any more?
सर जिसके पास सिविलाइजेशन है इंडिया की.
अच्छा. So I always say this in my lectures. Like we say that who is an Aboriginal. So today we cannot say, claim, nobody can claim, I am the Aboriginal of India. Because today if we check our DNA, everybody, we will find the traces. They are not of this origin. Now, when I say that India is now when we describe India, we say that India is a melting pot of all cultures, of religions, all races around the world. It is a melting pot. We find the people from all parts of the world. They came here and they settled here. We also use the term unity in diversity. It is very common and very popular. But I say that we have a diversity in our unity. So many people from all parts of the world since the ancient times, they have come and they have settled down in our country. That country is a beautiful country. Now we know it as an India. So this is very interesting fact. So who are the people who came to India and who settled down in India? We will just have a look at that. So for that purpose, we should first take into account the trade. Like in India, we had the trade relations with the foreign countries. Like I am in the city of Aurangabad, Maharashtra. Now it is known as renamed as Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. Besides my town, we have a small place. Now it is a taluka that is known as Paitan. But the ancient name of Paitan was Pratishtana. And Pratishtana was the capital of the Satvahana Empire. Immediately after the Ashokan Empire, which was split, so the Satavahanas, they ruled this part of the country, ancient India. So they had their capital just 45 kilometers south of Aurangabad. Now we have got the evidences that the trade was there between Pratishtana and Rome with the Roman Empire. And the Pratishtana silk, what we popularly call it the Paitani silk, was sent to Rome. It was sold in Rome and it was worn by the royal people in the court. And we have the references in the Roman Empire. In the treasury, there is a reference that more amount of the money, this money is being spent on the purchase of the wool, of the silk from Paitan, Pratishtana. It is going from the official money. So this reference we got. So there, and we found certain coins, Roman coins in Pratishtana, some pottery, and so many. So just to tell you that even a small place like Pratishtana, today's Paitan, it was having trade relations with Rome. And if we look at the map of India, a V shape is there, 7,500 kilometers of the coastline. So on that we have ancient ports like Sopara is there, and so many are there. So here the traders are coming by the sea route. Again, they are following the land route. We have the Silk Route, and so the foreign trade in ancient India, it is far more than today's trade. It is beyond imagination. If there are some professors from the history or geography, they will know the volume of the trade, or even from commerce, they will know that this trade across the world, it is with India and South Asia. So the foreign trade, it was through the land routes, the silk routes. Then we had the sea routes, like we had the ports on the Arabian Sea, like Lothal, ancient Lothal, Bharuch, Sopara, like it is in Mumbai, Nala Sopara. So we find the trade routes in so the bays in the Bengal, Bay of Bengal, Tamralipiti, and Kaveri Patnam, and we had the trade with South Asia. We had trade with the China. We had the trade with Greek and Roman empires. So people from all over the world, they are coming as traders. And what we are trading, what was exported from India. Now this is, I am going to relate this. Like basically spices, pepper, cardamom, cinnamon, then precious stones like the diamonds and the pearls, the textile like the cotton, silk, muslin, and we have the ivory, sandalwood, indigo, then iron and steel. In that we have the wood steel. So many things we are exporting from India during that time. And what we are importing from the foreigners, from the foreign traders, what they are bringing? They are bringing with them the gold and silver, especially from the Roman Empire. The horses we are getting it from the Arabia, that time Arabia or the Middle East. That we can say that Central Asia and that part of the world, we are getting the horses. Then again, we are getting the wine, then the different oils, olive oil, the glassware, and especially we are getting the silk from China. Chinese silk is very, very famous. And since the ancient times, since the time of the Indus Valley civilization, we have we have seen in the excavation the ports in the Indian Valley, that is Lothal. And in the excavations, we have found the evidences of bead and cotton. And this bead and cotton, it was coming from Mesopotamia in the Harappan period. And in the Mauryan Empire, we get that references in the Arthashastra, Chanakya's Arthashastra. In that great book, we will find so many references of the trade. So in that we find the trade centers of that time, Patliputra and Tamralipti and Bharuch. Bharuch is a very important location. And in the Satvana Empire, as I mentioned, Pratishtana, again we have a place near Aurangabad. It is now known as Bhokardan, but it was in ancient India, Bhogavardhana. And we had a place, now it is near Usmanabad, that is Ter. In the ancient times, it is Tagara. So Tagara and Bhogavardhana, these are the ancient trade cities. Now, today, if we have to compare, I can compare these two trade cities with Mumbai and Surat. That much important trading cities were there, and they are just in our region of Marathwada. Two are in Aurangabad district, one is in Usmanabad district. So you can find that the interior part of India is also having trade relations, trade and commerce with the foreign countries. And we find that Indian uh, Indian goods, they had great demand in the foreign countries. Now, due to the trade, what happened? The traders. Now, this is very interesting topic. I'll just give a small reference. How trade has affected ancient India. Now, if there's somebody from history or it is general knowledge, like I am from Aurangabad, we have the first World Heritage Site of India, that is Ajanta and Ellora, these two caves. And does anybody know how many World Heritage, sorry, how many caves are there in India? Rock cut caves like Ajanta, Ellora. Any figure can anybody give us? Anybody? Okay. Today, in today's India, we have 1200 caves. Like one cave, Ajanta, it is having it is a group of 32 caves. Ellora, officially we have opened 32 and there are more than 150 caves. The complex, total complex. So we are just counting this. We are counting this cave as one. In the complex, there are so many. So we have 1200 caves existing in today's India, and out of that 900 are in Western India and 800 are in Maharashtra. And during the Ashokan Empire, we had 2500 caves. The caves which you find in Afghanistan, the Bamia and all. So likewise, we have 2,500 locations where we have the caves. But today we have 1,200 in India. Now the point is why the caves were constructed and who constructed. We are not going into the artisans. Who has funded? Who has funded the excavation of these caves? And what was the primary purpose of this cave? Now this is very interesting. Like I have mentioned about the ancient trade. So for the ancient trade, we have the ancient trade routes. People are coming by the sea route, right? They are coming from the silk route. They are coming from the cotton route. But again, in India, ancient India, we are having the ancient trade routes on land. These are the routes they are the roads connecting to the important locations in India. They are connecting to the capitals and the trade cities. Now, during that time, the travel in the ancient times, it is in a karama. People are having their goods. They are using the carts and the chariots, and they are traveling in a group that is known as the caravan, or in Marathi, Hindi, we say karma, in a group. So the travel is very unique. During that time, we find the most of the part of the ancient India, it is having dense forest, and it is very risky to travel in the night. Even in the daytime, people are afraid. Even that time, we had the robbers and the dacoits who were looting these traders. So the traders had their own security and all other things, but they are traveling in group and they are having their own carts. And during the daytime, they are traveling, covering a particular distance. So that distance, it is like certain 20 miles, 30 miles. We will just count it like that. So in the daytime, whatever travel was possible, that much they are traveling, and in the evening, they are arriving at a cave. Now, the basic purpose of excavating the caves, it is for the accommodation purpose. I'll give you two references. Basically, the monks, they go for the Varshavasa. Varshavasa, during the monsoon season, retreat. They will stay in one particular location because it is very difficult for them to travel because it is raining heavily. And today also we can see, in today's India also, if there is rain for 2 days, everything is halted. You just think of the ancient India. So that time the monks, especially the Buddhist monks, the Jaina monks, they are going and staying in the caves, secluded places just near the town or the village. They have a cave. It is being excavated. Now the basic purpose is religious purpose. These caves are also used as the educational centers. Like when we talk about tomorrow, I'll be in the next lecture, I'll be giving some details on that. But for educational purpose, and third, very important, it is the place of accommodation for the ongoing travelers, the traders, the pilgrims, the students. Whoever is traveling, he will find an accommodation in the cave. So the excavation of these caves was funded by the local kings. They had patronized. They have patronized the religion and they are giving some funding for the excavation. But the major funding, it is coming from the foreign traders. And we have got the references, rock cut inscriptions about the donations. The donations made by the traders guilds. That time they had the guilds. And they have generously they have donated to this excavation. Why? Because they are going to provide them with the accommodation. These caves also served as the banks, or they had the locker system. The traders are entering into the ancient India. They are having some goods, they are selling them, they are having some valuables, they are keeping it safely inside the cave, and they are moving ahead. And again, after 5 6 months or a year, they are coming back, they are collecting their valuables and going back. So that system was there. And for this service, they gave donations for the excavation of the caves. So we find that 1,200 caves in today's India, and in the ancient India, 2,500. These were specifically excavated and funded by this particular traders. Now this trade is going on in the ancient India. Somebody speaking, please don't talk. Now trade, we have understood that trading is there. Now along with the trade, what happened? We have to understand. Now there is an interaction between two people, the foreigners and us. Now the foreigners, they are coming from different parts of the world, and again they are visiting our country. We are also going to the different parts of the world. Now, along with this trade, we find one important aspect, that is religion. Now, religion, the basic religion in India, we can say it is Hinduism, but again, it is not the only religion. We have different faiths. Four major religions originated in India, and one of the major religions is Buddhism. Now, Buddhism, it is interesting that Buddhism has traveled across the world. We know about Emperor Ashoka. He sent his son and daughter to different parts of the world, and the Buddhist monks are traveling and propagating their faith. And so the religion is traveling throughout the world. It is reaching up to Korea and up to Japan, in China, and all so many countries. Even in Greece and Rome, we find the Buddhist culture. Now it is traveling. Likewise, we get so many religions from foreign countries. They have also come to India. Indian religions traveling abroad and foreign religions coming to India. Now, this is something very composite. Give and take, something like this happening. Now, we are just thinking, I am just talking about this to make you understand what is there in India, ancient India. So, all these religions, they are coming together. All these people, they are coming together. They are propagating their religion, their faith. They are giving their experiences, their customs and traditions, sharing and all. They are also having the matrimonial, we can say, alliances. So I'll come to that also. Like along with this religion and the trade, we find foreigners came as rulers. Somebody invaded India, somebody conquered India, then parts of India, ancient India, but they settled down here. Now we have to see how many foreign dynasties or people they came and ruled India. Very interesting. We have Persians. Persians have come to India 4th to 6th to 4th century. They have come into India. Like we have the reference of Darius the First and Xerxes. They came and their empire extended till the parts of Punjab, Sindh, Gandhara, that is in today's Afghanistan, so north part. So the Persians came along. After them, we find that the Greeks came. The very famous Greek emperor we know, Alexander. He invaded this part of the country, then India, ancient India, the northernmost part. Now, the northernmost part, and we had a very famous, interesting episode, and that is visible. That is also known as the battle with King Porus, Kuru. So all this is happening in today's North India. So that time they are coming here, they are settling. Now, when they are coming here as invaders or rulers, they are settling down here. This is important. They are settling, they are marrying the locals. The locals are marrying the foreigners. Now, due to this, what is happening? We have a different kind of culture. Like we have a great king. The reference is made in the Buddhism. The great king Menander, Greek king, who converted to Buddhism, and he was named as Milinda. So we have so many references of him, especially in the Milindapana. So these are the literary sources. So Greeks came, they ruled and they settled down in India. So along with the Greeks, their culture also came. So that point we will discuss in the later parts. The Shakyas or the Scythians, They came from the Central Asia. These are the nomadic tribes. They came after defeating the Indo-Greek kings, and they ruled parts of the Malwa, Rajasthan, and Gujarat, and also some part of Maharashtra. Then we had the Persians or Parthians, we call them. They come from today's Iran. They came here. Then we have the Kushanas. They again came from the Central Asia. There are some tribes from China, today's China. So they came here, and they also established their empires. And one of the famous is Kanishka, Emperor Kanishka. He also was a Kushana. We have the Hunas. These are the nomadic tribes from the Central Asia. Then we have later on, along with this, in the medieval period, we find the Arabs from the West Asia, then the Turks from Turkey, Turkmenistan, we can say. So that is like the these people again, they came here. Again, we have the Afghans, like the Lodi dynasty and all, the Mongols, Genghis Khan, and we have the Delhi Sultanate period. We have the slave dynasty, it is of Turkish origin. And the Khilji dynasty, again it is Turkish. Tughlaq dynasty, it is Turkish. Then the Sayyid dynasty, it is Persian origin. And the Lodi dynasty, again it is Afghan origin. Then we have the Mughal Empire, Mughal period. Again, they are from the Mongol Turkish origin. And we will not go into the history. Then in the colonial period, we have the Portuguese. We find them in Goa. Like we know, Vasco da Gama and all, they came. And again with them, we find the Dutch and the French. They had their own colonies. Now, after them, lastly, the Britishers came. So now, the point here, these people came from all parts of the world. They came, they ruled, they settled. Trade same, right? Students who came for education. So we find that India has become a melting pot of all religions, of cultures, all races of the world. And along with them, whatever they brought with them and whatever the foreigners took with them from India, that the complete part is Indian. I will say that this is Indian because I am not restricting IKS to present India. I will say that we have this much volume of Indian knowledge. So whatever knowledge was taken by the Chinese scholars, it is Indian knowledge. Whatever was taken in Japan, it is Indian knowledge. So we had been to Japan. Maybe tomorrow in the day after I'll show you some photographs. How the knowledge has traveled up to Japan and how they have preserved it. So we can find that this knowledge is going with the foreign traders, the foreigners, and it is coming from the foreign rulers and all. Now, if we take the part of the languages, there is always a debate about the language. We are also fighting because of the language in all parts of India. We will not go into that. But do you know what is the influence of the Indian languages abroad? Indian languages abroad, Sanskrit. Sanskrit has spread all over the world in the ancient India and in the ancient world. We find Sanskrit along with the Buddhism and Hinduism, it has traveled across the Asia. And in Koyasan University, we have a full-fledged department of Sanskrit in Japan. From here, you can understand. They run the courses. They do research in the Sanskrit language since ancient times. Like Sanskrit is again going to the countries like Nepal, Tibet, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, so many countries. And we can find many texts, ancient scripts scriptures in Sanskrit language abroad. Most important language of all, it is Pali and Prakrit. So these languages literally went throughout the world. It is extending throughout the world. Because when we say chant the three terms, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, that means it has gone with the religion to all parts of the world. It is in Pali and Prakrit. Language is still spoken in different parts of the world. We in India don't speak the ancient languages, but people abroad, those who follow the faith, those who read, they have the languages. They still have maintained the ancient Indian languages. Now here, one more important language, Tamil. If you go to south of Asia, you will find everywhere the influence of Tamil languages there. Tamil is widely spoken. Today you can find it in Sri Lanka, in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and so many other Asian countries. Tamil is widely spoken. And again, we find the Indian languages, the Gujarati, Hindi, Urdu, Punjabi, Bengali. Again, with the people, it has traveled abroad. The NRIs and the PIOs. PIO means persons of Indian origins, and NRIs. They have taken the language. And since the ancient times, it is there. Like we have Trinidad, Tobago, in the West Indies and all, in Mauritius and all. They are the locals. They are the Indians who have settled there along with the British. They took them. So the language is still there. They speak in that particular Indian language. But again, I will come back to the foreigners. The foreigners also brought their language with them, and which is used in India. This is very interesting. Like we say that we can see that Persian language, it came to India, and it is influencing the Indian languages such as Hindi, Urdu, Bengali, and Punjabi. We find so many numerous terms of the Persian language in our own languages. Like to give you an example, like word dunya, khidmat, bazar, shahr. These are the Persian terms, which are we are using it. These have been incorporated in our languages. Then we have the Arabic language. This language came with the faith of Islam and the traders. Now, Arabic, we find the terms in the Urdu language, we find it in Sindhi language, and in the Malayalam language. So, Arabic terms are used like a kitab, a book. Kitab is Arabic. Ilm, knowledge. Then we have hukumat, that is government. So, these terms we find, we say that these are all Indian words, but they are coming, the origin is different. And we have the Turkish and Mongolic, this languages, like this was coming from the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughals, the Turkish words like top, then so many terms like Turkish and I say Persian, these terms are widely used in our all languages. And the Portuguese, interesting, Portugal. The Portuguese language, we can find it in Marathi, Konkani, Malayali, and Bengali. Like we say Almari, just behind we can see one photo, one window is open there. Behind that, there is an Almari, the admin one. We can see Almari, Sabun, soap, Balti, Pav, bread pav, Pav. This is Portuguese word. And even some Dutch words, Dutch ruled in a very limited area. So some traces of the Dutch words are also there, but we find it in the German language. But again, German in India also. Again, we find the influence of the French words, French, especially in the Tamil, Malayalam, and Bengali languages. So many terms are there. And the most common influence is of the English language on all Indian languages. There are so many countless English words. We use it as our own language, like school, station, police station, ticket, hospital, bungalow, jungle, shampoo, so many words. These are the English words which we use in Hindi, Marathi, and all other languages. So, languages also have influenced. Now, I will come to the last point for today's discussion. Now, we are just relating. Most important influence we find on the art and architecture. Both ways we are going to understand. The art and architecture of India, which has gone abroad. Like we can say the art and architecture, the majority of the architecture of ancient India, it is Buddhist architecture, and that can be found in the stupas and the cave architecture and the monasteries. So this architecture has traveled from India. Actually, it is in ancient India, it was already there. But again, we find that the stupas, monasteries, they have inspired the sites, monuments in Sri Lanka, like Anuradhapuram. You find the replica of the Ajanta caves is there. The rock cut caves we find Dunhuang caves in China, the biggest, largest in the world. All Buddhist caves, similar architecture, just as Ajanta and Ellora. We find similar caves in rock cut caves in Japan and in Korea. We have the pagoda architecture, which is evolved from the Buddhist architecture in China, Japan, Myanmar, Thailand. All Indian architecture is going there. And the images, the Bodhisattva images, they are from the Gandhara and the Mathura schools. They are influenced by the Buddhist art. We find that in the Central and the East Asia. Hindu art architecture, we will find very beautiful Hindu temples are not in India. If you want to visit the most beautiful and the largest Hindu temples, they are not in India, they are in foreign countries. Again, religion travel to that countries. So in Cambodia, we have the Angkor Wat, Khmer Rouge. So we find the Angkor Wat, it is the Vishnu temple, very large complex Hindu temple abroad. This Hindu art architecture went there. In Indonesia, Prambanan temple. Now it is based on the South Indian style of architecture. In Thailand and in Vietnam, we have the same temples. Now, again, language again also traveled, but performing arts, there is one ballet dance known as Ram Sita in Thailand, and it is a very traditional dance. Actually, the king of Thailand, they claim to be the descendants of Rama, and their name is Rama. And the ancient capital of Thailand, Siam, it is Ayodhya, similar as Ayodhya, and their title is also Rama. So this influence is also there, Rama Sita, and we can find some relics in the other temples, Hindu relics also we can find, especially from the Ramayana and Mahabharata. Now, what we got from the foreign countries, Indian art, architecture, travel abroad, but what came back to India, this is again interesting. We have the Persian influence on the Indian architecture. Here we can find the pattern of Charbagh. Charbagh is always there in the all Islamic architecture. So it is a four-part garden concept. Everywhere you will find the four bagh means Charbaghs. It is there in the Taj Mahal. It is there in the Srinagar and everywhere. You will find the use of the arches and the domes and the minarets. These have the Persian influence. Then the Greek and the Roman influence, a very important aspect we can find. It is the Gandhara art. It is a fusion of the traditional Indian and Greek art that is known as the Gandhara style. And here we can find several thousand images of the Buddha in the Gandhara art. Again, it is influenced by the Greeks and the Romans. Now, again, we find the Central Asian and Turkish influence on our architecture. These are again the arches, the domes, and especially the jali work, which you find in all Islamic monuments. The jali work, it is having the Turkish influence. And it is very interesting. It is carved from a single slab of marble and intricately carved pieces. And you can see the decorative jalis in, especially the most beautiful ones. You will find it in Itmatud Dawla in Agra. A very beautiful place. One should visit that place whenever you go to Agra. I say it is more important than the Taj Mahal. You can always go and visit. Then a very important part which is having the Islamic and the Arab influence, it is calligraphy. When we visit the Taj Mahal, we will find a very beautiful calligraphy inscribed on the walls, especially on the gateways of the Taj. Now, European influence, we have the Portuguese, the basilicas of Saint Basilica of Bom Jesus and the Say Cathedral. So many churches are there which are having the Portuguese influence. We have the entire French town in Pondicherry, everything French. And most important influences of the Britishers. We find so many monuments, so many sites which are still using today. The most important, now these are the blends of the Gothic and Victorian architecture. Like we have the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminus in Mumbai. Earlier it was known as VT, Victoria Terminus. The Mumbai Mahapalika building. All British, the entire town, Bombay. We find the Gateway of India, all British. Actually, the town area, it is completely British area, built by them and still we are using. New Delhi entirely, UTN's Delhi, it is constructed in the British architecture. Everything British will find there. Most famous, you'll find the Parliament House, Rashtrapati Bhavan. Then in Kolkata, the Victoria Memorial, India Gate, no, Gateway of India, Mumbai. So many monuments, so many sites we will be seeing in our country. Now, we will come to the last part. After knowing so many things, what do you feel? What is Indian then? Is it only limited to something which we say this is Indian? I will differ. Indian is not only limited to India. So many things have come to India. Today, I have not talked about the cuisine and all. How cuisine has influenced the foreign cuisine in India or Indian cuisine abroad. So many things have come to India, and as I said, the melting pot. So everything which is there has been accumulated over the centuries. That is India. We have to think about Indian knowledge system from that aspect. From that aspect, we have to understand the knowledge system, and from that we cannot segregate. This is Indian and this is not Indian. This has come to India. It is part of India. It is part of the unique culture. Like I say, nobody can identify who is an aboriginal. Likewise, Indian culture, it is very composite. It is not. काय बोलतंय कोणी? Somebody who wants to talk? So we find that the entire aspects which we have discussed, they are they have to be counted into the Indian knowledge system. We cannot differ. So many things. It is for you to think, ponder, and understand what is Indian. And now, as teachers, why we have to understand this and what we are going to give to our students. Like I was a part of the NEP long back. We actually started in 2016-17. So I was a part of a subcommittee, and we revised the syllabus of the NET in my subject of tourism administration. So that time it was just a niche area of NEP. IKS was a niche area. So we inculcated so many aspects which we found that this should be taken into consideration. So likewise, when we are teaching to the students, no, we will not go into that discussion like what is Indian and not Indian and what we are teaching to the students. We are not arguing anything. But what I feel that whatever you have been taught, whatever you have learned as the student, and whatever you are teaching, have you ever given a thought why you are teaching this just because it is prescribed in the syllabus or it is prescribed in the books? Like I'll give you an example. Now, student, the professors from the commerce, management, economics. So you have so many theories of management, theories of economics, so many. So do you think that these theories are really applicable in India? You are blindly teaching it to the students. Like I'll say, even give an example of management style of Kaizen from Japan. We are teaching Kaizen to the MBA students, but nobody knows what is Kaizen in the Indian context. No company, no manufacturing unit, they practice the Kaizen, but still we use without knowing. We have never thought whether it is applicable into the Indian conditions. We have to revise, we have to update, but we have not thought. And the biggest irony is that as teachers, you might be having children, and your children might be in the school and in the colleges, but these students, we are sending our children to the English medium schools. And in that in English medium schools, we are paying the fees 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 per month. The teachers who are teaching there, they are not qualified to be teachers. Did you ever go and check the teachers there? They are mere graduates. Sometimes they are not even graduates. They are teaching the child who is very small. They don't know the existing teachers, primary teachers, they don't know about the child's psychology, and they are imposing certain things upon them. Like to give you a simple example, it is in Marathi, I can relate. Like in English, we have the rhymes. Rain, rain, go away, come again another day, little Johnny wants to play. This is what we teach to the student. In a country like India, where we are deprived of the rain, we are teaching the rhymes, feeding the mind of the small child that we don't want rain. Whereas in Marathi, we say there is a poem, Yere Yere Pausa, Tula Dito Paisa. Means we are inviting the rain that you please come to our part, fall here, because we are deprived of rain. So, what has to be taught, we have to understand. And it all starts from the child. And in the child, if you are giving such kind of knowledge, then think about the final product, what is coming, which is coming to the high school and the colleges, and after that to the university. So it is completely different. So we have to think about when we are implementing the NEP, we have to think about the small child who is going to the primary school. From there, we have to teach him something which is useful for him, which pertains, which is related to his region, to his country, to his society. Likewise, we have to teach. So there is a long way we can go. And as teachers, maybe today you're working in the board of studies or the head of boards. And maybe in the coming days, if you are not working, you'll get some opportunities. But again, always your inputs are important. What kind of education? Like if I say that a student of history should We taught about the application of the history. It is not learning the history and doing nothing. We have to teach him the application, how history has to be applied, how geography has to be applied, how economics has to be applied, how the languages have to be applied, right? So I think I will stop here, and now we can open up for the discussions. Anybody would like to ask? You can turn on your cameras and you can ask.
Sir, very good afternoon, sir. My name is Dr. Naidu from Central Tribal University. You asked one question, why you are teaching that subject. Even faculty also don't understand. Even students also they don't understand. That is very good question, sir. Everyone should know actually the answer about this. But we are taught like this, sir. Actually, sir, before starting syllabus, like first of all, every faculty should explain a program outcomes. Actually, how those program outcomes came, how we designed, and how these program outcomes and how we can achieve through the course outcomes, like each subject how influence the each program outcome, and how we can wash the student brain, and as well as how we can make them like skill oriented person. So these type of before starting to, and as well as the how program outcome is that, and to achieve those program outcomes and how they introduce these subjects and these units and concepts and everything, we should start it, sir. So that, like, when you asked that question, I wanted to give you these like a type of some suggestions to every faculty, sir.
Okay, sir, you are from which tribal university?
Thank you.
You are from
Central
which
Tribal University of Andhra Pradesh, sir. Central Tribal University of Andhra Pradesh,
yeah,
sir.
okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
which subject?
So, management,
Okay.
sir. MBA. Yes, sir.
MBA. Who's your director over there now?
Yes. So my dean is Professor Jitendra Mohan.
So Jitendra Mohan sir is my very old friend. You give my regards to him. Actually, last year he was there in this session. Okay.
Definitely, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
No, everything is in the hands of the teacher. Basically, what we have to understand, the future of the country, it is in the hands of the teachers. And you have a great responsibility. No matter at what level
Yes,
you are,
sir. Yes.
in whatever level you are, you might be in the university or in the college or even
Yes,
in
sir.
the
Yes.
school. So we have a great
Yes, sir.
responsibility of nurturing our students, and these students are our future.
Yes, sir.
I remember when Shashi Tharoor, when he was in the earlier days, he was the MP. He asked a question in the parliament, and it is available on YouTube. You can see. He asked about the employability status of the engineering graduates, and the then HRD minister gave an answer, official reply to this third question, that 76% of the engineering graduates are not fit for employment. Now, this is a very important question before everybody. We have to understand why students are not employable. So it depends on the teacher. You forget what the university is giving to us, whatever syllabus, but as teacher, you have that responsibility. You have to groom the student to make him employable, to
Yes,
make
sir.
him a good citizen of this country. Anybody else?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Next question, anybody? Nobody wants to interact? Come on, you should start interacting. And I'll just would like to make a remark that don't attend this course just for the sake of getting a certificate for your career promotion. In this, so many professors would be coming, so much knowledge they would be sharing, but make use of this. The point is, you should always make use of the acquired knowledge and try to inculcate it, because it is in your hands. Today, if we don't groom our students in the proper manner, then you will be responsible for the future, whatever consequences will be there. So you have to think.
And sir, thank you so much. Sir, first of all, I have to remind everyone, like when I speak Telugu also, 30% is English words will come. I cannot speak Telugu also fluently. I'm a Telugu person, but I cannot speak Telugu, but 30% Telugu will come in between. Sometimes Tamil also come in between. It things what we can understand, as you said, absolutely, and other like English is, like all ruin the other languages, sir. So when we are using English also in between in mother language. The thing is that in future now, if you speak like this, our children's in next generation, they forget our language. They speak only 50%. They can use 50% words actually. So thank you so
Very
much,
true.
sir. That is a valid point and which you mentioned in the classroom. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So if there are no questions, we will stop. Okay, then thank you very much for listening to me. So we will end the session. So with your
Vote
I
of
request to roll number.
Yes, sir.
Roll number 2.
Yes, sir. Respected Dr. Rajesh Ragde, sir, honorable dignitaries and all the participants. On behalf of the organizing committee, it is my privilege and pleasure to express our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed chief guest, Dr. Rajesh Ragde, for gracing today's refresher course on Indian knowledge system, skill-based curriculum development with his invaluable presence and insights. Sir, your inspiring lecture and provoking perspectives have enlightened us all. Your vast experience as an academician, visionary researcher, and expert in tourism, combined with your dedication to privilege India's rich heritage, has given us much to reflect upon. The way you are connected traditional knowledge systems with modern scientific approaches truly broad-ended our understanding and reinforced the importance of integrating skill-based strategies on our curriculum. We learn how ancient Indian education focused on holistic development through the Gurukul system, value-based learning, and preserving knowledge via oral traditions, and how people from other countries came to India to learn and spread this knowledge globally. We also learn a trade flourished through the exchange of goods and knowledge. Caves were established as centers of learning and meditations, serving the purpose of perspective and sharing ancient wisdom. Sir also explained which rules government ancient India and how they settled here. Furthermore, he described how various foreign languages have influenced our present language and guided us the evolution of art and architecture. I sincerely thank him for sharing this valuable insight with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Afternoon session for the 250. Join all participants.
Roll number 3.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Hello. Roll number 3 are ready with the biodata reading. And what
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you.